The gleaming white corridors of Interstellar Diplomatic Station 1 hummed with nervous energy. Earth's first official alien delegation was arriving today. Dr. Hannah Kim adjusted her blue uniform and checked her datapad one last time. As the station's psychological advisor, her role was clear: observe, analyze, but do not interfere. Remember, everyone, these Valexians are extremely sensitive to emotional displays. Commander Ta reminded the assembled human staff. Keep your expressions neutral and follow protocol. Hannah nodded along with the others. 6 years of preparation had led to this moment. The airlock doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing 5 tall, slender beings. Their skin shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water, predominantly deep blues and greens that moved in gentle waves across their smooth bodies. The humans collectively held their breath. The Valexians stepped forward with graceful, flowing movements. 4 of them moved with perfect coordination, but Hannah's trained eye immediately noticed something off about the 5th and smallest member of their group. While the others displayed calm, steady color patterns, this one's skin flickered with occasional flashes of yellow and orange. Director Lee stepped forward to greet the lead Valexian. "Welcome to Earth's orbital station. I am Director Lee, and we are honored by your presence." The tallest Valexian bowed slightly. "I am Ambassador Ravi. We bring greetings from the Valexian Cooperative." The translator rendered the alien's musical tones into flat human speech. As formal introductions continued, Hannah couldn't stop watching the smaller Valexian, whose skin continued to display concerning color patterns. When the group moved toward the conference room, this alien fell slightly behind, one hand pressed against the wall for support. Protocol stated clearly: no unauthorized interaction. But something about the alien's body language spoke of distress that transcended species boundaries. When the small Valexian suddenly stopped walking, trembling visibly as bright red patches bloomed across her skin, Hannah made her decision. She approached cautiously, ignoring Commander Tae's warning glance. "Excuse me," she said softly, keeping her distance. "Are you unwell?" "I'm Dr. Hannah Kim, the station's psychological specialist." The Valexian's large, pupilless eyes fixed on her. "I am. Functioning adequately," the translator rendered in a strained voice. "Your coloration suggests otherwise," Hannah said gently. "On Earth, we would interpret those patterns as signs of distress." The alien's skin rippled with surprise. "You can read our emotional signaling." "Only in basic terms. We've studied the limited data shared by your advanced team." The Valexian seemed to consider this, then said, "I am Eri, Junior Diplomatic Attaché. This is my first space journey beyond our solar system." Her colors shifted again, now pulsing with rapid flickers of yellow. "Is this your first experience with what humans call stress?" Hannah asked. Before Eri could answer, the Valexian leader glided back toward them. "Attaché Eri, please join the delegation." His tone was firm, but his colors showed concern. "Yes, Ambassador Ravi." Eri straightened and moved forward, but after 3 steps, her skin suddenly flashed brilliant orange before she collapsed to the floor. The other Valexians backed away, their skins displaying patterns Hannah couldn't interpret. She rushed forward, medical training overriding diplomatic protocol. "Please," Ambassador Ravi said, blocking her path. "Do not touch her. This is internal. She needs medical attention," Hannah insisted, already scanning Eri with her medical device. The readings meant nothing. All baseline Valexian data was classified. "This condition is not physical as you understand it," Ambassador Ravi explained, his own colors darkening. "It is what you might call extreme stress reaction. For our species, it can be fatal if untreated." Commander Ta stepped forward. "We have medical facilities if your medicine cannot help," another Valexian interrupted. "This is a failure of harmonic regulation. Physical intervention will only accelerate the decline." Hannah looked at the fallen diplomat, whose skin now flickered between alarming reds and blacks. "What can be done?" The Valexians exchanged looks. Normally, A mind healer would guide her back to harmony, but we brought none on this journey. Such reactions were considered highly unlikely. I specialize in stress management, Hannah offered. Our species are different, but perhaps the principles are similar. Ambassador Ravi's colors shifted in what might have been surprise. You practice mind healing. We were told humans rely only on chemical interventions for mental states. We have many approaches, Hannah explained. Medication is one, but we also use cognitive techniques, meditation, and other non-physical therapies. The ambassador seemed to consider this as Aries' condition visibly worsened. Finally, he nodded. We have no alternative. What do you require? A quiet room, and your permission to guide her through some techniques. Minutes later, Hannah sat across from Eri in the station's meditation chamber. The Valexian's breathing, or whatever equivalent process her species used, was rapid and shallow. I'm going to speak softly and guide you through a calming technique, Hannah explained. Try to focus only on my voice. Aries' translator hummed acknowledgement. First, bring your attention to your body. Notice the sensations without judgment. Hannah kept her voice steady and calm. Feel where your body connects with the floor beneath you. To her surprise, Aries' colors responded immediately. The frantic flashing slowed slightly. That's good, Hannah encouraged. Now focus on your breathing cycle. In and out. Slow and steady. After 15 minutes of guided breathing and body awareness, Aries' coloration had stabilized to a steady violet. Her trembling stopped. This is remarkable, Aries finally said. The discord is quieting. These are just basic human relaxation techniques, Hannah explained. We've developed them over centuries to manage our own stress responses. Your species experiences this regularly? Aries asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. Very regularly. Space travel is stressful for humans too, just not usually life-threatening. Aries' skin rippled with what Hannah hoped was amusement. Perhaps humans have advantages we had not considered. Our evolutionary path never required development of such internal regulation. Our homeworld was harmonious. From the observation window, Ambassador Ravi and Commander Tai watched with very different expressions. This violates protocol, Ta muttered. Yet it appears effective, Ravi replied, his skin showing thoughtful patterns. Perhaps there is more to learn from humans than we anticipated. When Aries finally stood, her colors had returned to a steady blue with gentle ripples of purple. Thank you, Dr. Kim. I would be grateful to learn more of these techniques. Hannah smiled. I'd be happy to teach you, if your ambassador approves. Ambassador Ravi entered the room, his colors showing what Hannah interpreted as cautious interest. It seems, Dr. Kim, that you have much to teach us. Perhaps this exchange will be more valuable than either of our species anticipated. That night, in her quarters, Hannah recorded her observations. Something extraordinary had happened today. Not just first contact between species, but first connection. She didn't know what might come of it, but as she looked out her viewport at the stars, she felt certain that helping someone in distress was never the wrong choice, no matter what galaxy they called home. The medical bay's soft blue lighting had been adjusted to match the comfortable spectrum for Valexian eyes. Hannah sat across from Aries, whose color had stabilized to a muted lavender after their first session. 3 days had passed since the diplomatic incident, and Commander Ta had reluctantly approved daily meetings between the human psychologist and the alien diplomat. How are you feeling today? Hannah asked, setting her datapad aside. Better, Aries replied. Her translator rendered the musical tones into human speech. The techniques you showed me yesterday helped when the colors started to shift again. Hannah smiled. I'm glad. Today I thought we might try something different. On Earth, we call it mindfulness meditation. Aries tilted her head. A gesture Hannah had learned indicated curiosity. Your species has many methods for controlling internal states. Why? We evolved in a changing, sometimes dangerous environment, Hannah explained. Our bodies respond to threats with what we call fight or flight reactions. These were useful when facing predators, but less helpful during complex social interactions. Fascinating. Aries skin rippled with thoughtful blues. Valexians evolved in stable ecosystems with few predators. Our stress responses developed only for social harmony, not survival. Hannah leaned forward. That explains why space travel affects your people so strongly. It introduces uncertainty your species never needed to manage. Yes, Aerie agreed. Before contact with other species, Valexians rarely experienced what you call stress. Our planet was predictable, our society ordered. Now, everything changes constantly. Hannah nodded. Change can be difficult for humans too. That's why we developed these techniques. They help us adapt. She guided Aerie through a simple mindfulness exercise, asking her to focus attention on present sensations without judgment. Aerie's skin responded visibly, shifting to deeper, calmer tones. "This is remarkable," Aerie said afterward. "The simple act of paying attention changes the internal experience." "It's one of the oldest human practices," Hannah replied. "Some versions date back thousands of years." The door slid open, and Ambassador Ravi entered. His colors showed what Hannah had learned to recognize as formal politeness. "Attaché Aerie, the delegation requires your presence for the afternoon meeting." Aerie's colors flashed briefly with yellow. Anxiety, before settling back to calm blue. "I am prepared, Ambassador." Ravi turned to Hannah. "Dr. Kim, your assistance has been valuable. Our medical records show Aerie's harmonic patterns have improved significantly." "I'm happy to help," Hannah said, standing. "Perhaps these sessions could benefit other Valexians experiencing similar difficulties." Ravi's skin displayed a pattern Hannah couldn't interpret. "Perhaps. For now, this remains an individual accommodation." After they left, Hannah recorded her observations, noting the resistance in the ambassador's response. Cultural exchange was never simple, even with the best intentions. The next day, Aerie arrived at Hannah's office carrying a small device that pulsed with gentle light. "This is for you," she said, placing it on the desk. "A harmonic resonator. My people use them during contemplative practices." Hannah examined the beautiful object without touching it. "Thank you, but I can't accept gifts during diplomatic missions." "It is not a gift but a tool," Aerie explained. "It may help you understand our experience better." With hesitation, Hannah picked up the device. It vibrated slightly, producing subtle tones just at the edge of human hearing. "Focus on the vibrations," Aerie instructed. Hannah closed her eyes. Gradually, she became aware of something unusual, a sensation of connectedness, as if the boundaries between herself and her surroundings were softening. "This is how Valexians naturally perceive reality," Aerie said quietly. "Constant awareness of connection with our environment." Hannah opened her eyes. "It's beautiful. No wonder separation is so difficult for your people." "Yes, space travel cuts these connections, leaving only emptiness where harmony should exist." Their sessions continued daily, evolving into a true exchange. Hannah taught progressive relaxation, visualization, and cognitive reframing. Aerie shared Valexian concepts of harmonic resonance and collective consciousness. One afternoon, they sat in the station's observation lounge, watching Earth rotate slowly below them. "Your world looks peaceful from here," Aerie commented, her skin displaying serene patterns. "It has its conflicts," Hannah admitted, "but it's home." "Would you share something personal about your home?" Aerie asked unexpectedly. Our cultural briefings contained facts but little about lived experience. Hannah considered this. "When I was young, my grandmother taught me to fish at a small lake near our home. We would sit for hours in complete silence, just watching the water." She smiled at the memory. "Looking back, I realized she was teaching me meditation without calling it that." "You learned stillness as a child," Aerie noted. "On my world, we have a similar practice called current floating. Young Valexians float in special pools, learning to sense the currents without resistance." Different methods, similar purpose, Hannah observed. Yes, Aries' colors shifted to thoughtful purples. Perhaps all conscious beings seek similar states, regardless of biology. Their conversation was interrupted when Commander Tai entered, his expression serious. Dr. Kim, a word please. In the corridor, Tai's disapproval was evident. These sessions have extended beyond therapeutic necessity. You're sharing cultural information not covered by your clearance. With respect, Commander, this exchange benefits both sides, Hannah argued. Aries' condition has improved dramatically, and we're gaining valuable insights into Valexian psychology. That's not your decision to make, Ta said firmly. Stick to stress management techniques only. Cultural exchange is handled by the diplomatic team. Hannah returned to Aries, frustrated but careful not to show it. Your commander disapproves, Aries observed immediately, her skin showing perception patterns. He's concerned about proper protocols, Hannah admitted. Valexians have protocols too, Aries said. But we also recognize when connection transcends them. Her translator paused briefly, searching for the right words. In our culture, when beings establish harmonic resonance, they become, I think your word is friends. Hannah smiled despite herself. Yes, I think that's the right word. That evening, Ambassador Ravi requested a meeting with Hannah in his private quarters. The spacious room was filled with strange objects that emitted subtle harmonics, creating a soundscape that reminded her of the resonator Aries had shown her. Dr. Kim, he began, his colors formal but not unfriendly, your work with Attaché Aries has produced unexpected results. Is that a problem, Ambassador? Not necessarily, but it reveals something our preliminary studies of humans missed. His colors shifted to something more serious. You possess natural harmonic abilities our scientists believed impossible for your species. I don't understand, Hannah said. The techniques you call stress management align with aspects of Valexian consciousness we believed unique to our evolutionary path. Ravi's colors showed what might have been respect. This suggests possibilities for deeper exchange than originally planned. I would welcome that, Hannah said carefully. As would I, Ravi replied, surprising her. But others in both our delegations prefer caution. Your Commander Tai and several of my colleagues believe boundaries should remain firm. And what do you believe, Ambassador? Ravi's colors shifted to a pattern she hadn't seen before. I believe that when two species can help each other, wisdom lies in exploration, not restriction. As Hannah returned to her quarters, she felt a subtle shift in her understanding. What had begun as a simple attempt to help someone in distress was evolving into something her training hadn't prepared her for, a genuine bridge between two very different ways of experiencing the universe. The diplomatic conference room buzzed with tension. 2 weeks had passed since the Valexian delegation arrived, and today marked the first substantive negotiation session. Hannah stood at the back wall with other support staff, watching as Director Lee welcomed everyone. Today we begin discussing potential areas for technological exchange, Director Lee announced. Earth is particularly interested in sustainable energy production methods. Ambassador Ravi's skin displayed formal acknowledgement patterns. The Valexian Cooperative is open to sharing certain environmental technologies. However, we must establish trust parameters first. Colonel Da, Earth's military attaché, leaned forward. Trust works both ways, Ambassador. Your delegation has been reluctant to discuss propulsion technology despite our repeated inquiries. Hannah noticed Aries' skin immediately ripple with concern. The young attaché had been doing well in their daily sessions, but this was the first high-stakes meeting she had attended. Ambassador Ravi remained composed. Propulsion technology falls under our non-interference protocols. We cannot share advancements that might alter your species' natural development path. Colonel Day's expression hardened. With respect, Ambassador, Earth will determine its own development path. Your position seems condescending at best. From across the room, Hannah watched Aries' skin flash warning colors, quick pulses of orange and red. The young Valexian's breathing had become rapid and shallow. Colonel, Director Lee interjected, we agreed to focus on environmental technology today. And I'm pointing out the one-sided nature of these discussions, Colonel Dai countered. The Valexians observe our planet, study our culture, yet withhold their most valuable technologies under the guise of protection. Ambassador Ravi's colors remained diplomatic, but the other Valexians showed increasing distress. Eri, in particular, now displayed alarming color patterns Hannah had never seen before, deep crimson with black edges. Without thinking, Hannah moved away from the wall. Director, may I suggest a short recess? The biometric readings suggest some participants might benefit from a break. Director Lee frowned at the interruption. Dr. Kim, please return to your observer position. Colonel Dai continued pressing. If we're discussing environmental technology, why not address the radiation shielding your ships use? That would certainly help Earth's environment. As the tension escalated, Eri suddenly clutched at her chest, her skin flashing brilliant red before fading to a sickly gray. She slumped in her chair, trembling visibly. Eri, Hannah rushed forward despite protocol. The other Valexians backed away, their skin displaying patterns of alarm and helplessness. Ambassador Ravi moved toward Eri, but maintained distance. What's happening? Director Lee demanded. Catastrophic harmonic disruption. Ambassador Ravi explained, his own colors showing distress. It is a severe stress reaction that can be fatal if not addressed quickly. Can your medical team help her? Director Lee asked. The Valexian who served as their health monitor shook his head. Once the pattern reaches this stage, external intervention is ineffective. Her internal harmony must be restored naturally or... He didn't finish the sentence. Hannah knelt beside Eri's chair. Let me try. We've been working on techniques specifically for this. Colonel Dai stepped forward. This is a diplomatic meeting, not a therapy session. Security, please escort Dr. Kim out. Two security officers moved toward Hannah, but Ambassador Ravi intercepted them. Please, he said to Director Lee, allow Dr. Kim to assist. Attaché Eri's condition is life-threatening. Director Lee hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes, Dr. Kim. The security officers backed away, and Hannah focused entirely on Eri, whose skin now displayed chaotic patterns of red and black. Her eyes were unfocused, her breathing erratic. Eri, focus on my voice, Hannah said softly. Remember our practice. Find your center point. There was no response. Eri's trembling intensified. Hannah thought quickly. The standard techniques wouldn't work fast enough. She needed something stronger, more immediate. Ambassador, may I use physical contact? In humans, touch can ground someone during extreme distress. Ambassador Ravi's colors showed uncertainty. Physical contact during harmonic disruption is unusual, but you may try. Hannah gently took Eri's hands. Eri, feel the connection between us. Focus on that single point of contact. She guided Eri through their most advanced meditation technique, using the resonant tones Eri had taught her. Breathe with me. Feel the rhythm we create together. Let everything else fade away. The room fell completely silent as humans and Valexians watched the intervention. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, Eri's skin began to stabilize. The chaotic patterns calmed, shifting from alarming reds to troubled purples, then gradually to steadier blues. After several tense minutes, Eri's eyes focused again. Hannah, she whispered, her translator barely catching the sound. I'm here, Hannah reassured her. You're coming back into balance. Ambassador Ravi's colors displayed what Hannah had learned to recognize as astonishment. Remarkable. I have never witnessed such recovery from advanced disruption. Director Lee cleared his throat. This meeting is adjourned until tomorrow. Ambassador, please see to your attaché's recovery. As the room emptied, Colonel Dai lingered. That was quite a performance, Dr. Kim. It wasn't a performance, Colonel. It was emergency intervention. Perhaps, he said skeptically. But convenient timing, wouldn't you say? Just as we pressed for meaningful exchange. Before Hana could respond, Ambassador Ravi approached. Dr. Kim, would you accompany us to our quarters? Attaché Eri may need further assistance. The Valexian delegation's living area was bathed in soft, harmonically tuned light. Eri rested on a specially designed couch, while Hana monitored her recovery. Your intervention saved her life, Ambassador Ravi said quietly. Our medical records show no Valexian has ever recovered from such advanced disruption without a mind healer's assistance. The techniques worked better than I expected, Hana admitted, but I'm concerned about her returning to diplomatic meetings. She will not, Ravi decided. Today made clear that certain humans approach negotiation as conflict rather than harmony-seeking. Not all humans think like Colonel Dai, Hana said. Perhaps not. Ravi's colors showed thoughtful patterns, but enough to create dangerous situations for my people. Hana's communicator chimed. The message from Director Lee was brief and direct. Report to my office immediately. Director Lee didn't ask Hana to sit when she entered his office. His expression was stone cold. Your actions today violated multiple protocols, Dr. Kim. With respect, sir, Attaché Eri's life was in danger. You were assigned to observe and analyze, not intervene. You've been conducting unauthorized sessions with the Valexian attaché for 2 weeks, sharing cultural information beyond your clearance level, and today you disrupted critical negotiations. The negotiations were already disrupted by Eri's medical emergency, Hana pointed out. An emergency that happened at a convenient moment for the Valexians to avoid difficult questions. Director Lee countered. Colonel Dab believes they may be using these stress reactions to manipulate our approach. Hana couldn't believe what she was hearing. Sir, I've worked with Eri extensively. Her condition is genuine and life-threatening. Your judgment is compromised, Dr. Kim. Director Lee handed her a tablet. You're being reassigned to Earth, effective immediately. Your replacement arrives tomorrow. Sir, please reconsider. The work I'm doing with the Valexians is valuable. That's not your decision to make. Pack your things. The shuttle leaves at 800 hours. When Hana returned to her quarters, she found a message waiting on her private terminal. It was from Eri, text only. What humans call helping and what Valexians call harmonic restoration may be the same thing. Some connections transcend diplomatic boundaries. Thank you, Hana Kim. As Hana packed her belongings, she wondered if she had just witnessed the beginning of true understanding between species, or the end of it. Autumn rain tapped steadily against the windows of Hana's small office in Seoul. 6 months had passed since her abrupt dismissal from the International Space Station. Her career in space diplomacy was over, but her private practice was growing. She had found purpose again, helping people manage stress and trauma. The door chime sounded, announcing her 2 o'clock appointment. Hana checked her schedule. A new patient named Lee Jinho. She straightened her desk and pressed the entry button. The door slid open, but instead of a human patient, a tall figure in a hooded cloak stood in the doorway. As the visitor stepped inside and lowered the hood, Hana gasped. Eri. The Valexian's skin rippled with pleased blue patterns. Hello, Hana Kim. Hana stared in disbelief. How are you here? I thought Valexians weren't permitted on Earth's surface. Much has changed, Eri replied, her translator rendering the musical tones into Korean. May I sit? Still stunned, Hana gestured to the chair across from her desk. Eri moved with the same fluid grace Hana remembered, but something was different. The Valexians' colors displayed confident, stable patterns unlike the anxious fluctuations from their first meeting. You look well, Hana said finally. Thanks to you. Eri's skin flashed with warm colors. After you left the station, I continued practicing the techniques you taught me. They allowed me to function effectively even in stressful diplomatic situations. I'm glad to hear that. There is more. Eri's colors shifted to formal patterns. I now serve as the Valexian Minister of Interspecies Relations. Hana's eyes widened. That's a significant promotion from junior attaché. Yes. My experience with human stress management techniques proved valuable. I proposed establishing similar training for all Valexian diplomats and space travelers. That's wonderful, Hannah said sincerely. The Valexian High Council was initially resistant, Ari continued. Our culture values traditional approaches, but when I demonstrated the effectiveness of your methods, they recognized the potential benefits. Hannah poured tea for them both, noting how Ari examined the steaming cup with curious eyes before carefully mimicking Hannah's movements to take a sip. Interesting sensory experience, Ari commented. We have similar communal consumption rituals. Why have you come to Earth? Hannah asked. Surely not just to tell me about your promotion. Ari set down her cup. No, I came because of symmetry. Symmetry. In Valexian culture, when one being saves another's life, perfect balance must be established. You saved my life on the station. Hannah Kim. I was just doing my job. Hannah protested. Nevertheless, the debt exists. Ari's colors shifted to deep, serious blues. After my appointment, I gained access to the restricted knowledge archives. I found something that might constitute appropriate balance. From her robes, Ari produced a small crystal that glowed with pulsing inner light. She placed it carefully on Hannah's desk. What is this? Hannah asked, not touching it. A data crystal containing Valexian knowledge about consciousness and neural pathways that has never been shared with humans. Ari's colors displayed solemn patterns. The council debated extensively before approving this exchange. Some felt it violated our non-interference principles. Hannah stared at the crystal. Why would they approve it now? Because I showed them the progress you helped me achieve. I argued that humans already possess natural harmonic abilities that align with our understanding of consciousness. This knowledge would not introduce alien concepts, but rather enhance existing human capabilities. Does Earth's government know you're here? Hannah asked cautiously. My visit is approved through diplomatic channels. The crystal's contents, however, are listed simply as cultural exchange materials. Ari's skin flashed with what Hannah had learned to recognize as amusement. Bureaucracy exists in all species, it seems. Hannah hesitated. I'm not sure I should accept this. I'm no longer affiliated with any official organization. That is precisely why you are the appropriate recipient. Ari leaned forward. This knowledge is not meant for weapons or technology development. It is about healing minds, your specialty. Outside, the rain intensified, drumming against the windows as Hannah considered the glowing crystal. How would I even access the information? The crystal interfaces with standard neural visual displays, Ari explained. It will translate the concepts into forms your mind can process. Hannah's fingers hovered over the crystal. What exactly does it contain? Valexian understanding of consciousness is different from human models, Ari said. We perceive mind not as contained within individuals, but as patterns existing across connected systems. Your human term might be emergent properties. That sounds like some Earth philosophies, Hannah noted. Yes, but we have mapped these patterns precisely. The crystal contains practical applications, methods to restore damaged neural pathways, techniques to resolve what you call psychological trauma, approaches to enhance cognitive harmony. That sounds too good to be true, Hannah said skeptically. Ari's colors showed understanding. It is not magic, Dr. Kim. These methods require training and practice, just as your stress management techniques do. But they may help humans who cannot be helped by your current approaches. As if to emphasize the point, Hannah's tablet chimed with a notification about her next patient, a veteran with treatment-resistant PTSD. She'd been working with him for months with minimal progress. The timing of your visit feels deliberate, Hannah observed. Valexians believe timing is rarely coincidental, Ari replied, her colors showing pleased patterns. Will you accept the crystal? After a long moment, Hannah picked up the small device. It felt warm in her hand, vibrating slightly with subtle energy. What happens next? She asked. Study it. Apply what you learn. Help those who need healing. Eri stood gracefully. I must return to the embassy now, but I will visit again in 6 months to observe your progress. That's it? No conditions or restrictions. Just one. Eri's colors became serious. The knowledge is for healing only. Should you attempt to use it for other purposes, the crystal will become inert. After Eri departed, Hannah canceled her remaining appointments. In her apartment that evening, she connected the crystal to her neural display and initiated the interface. The experience was unlike anything she had anticipated. Instead of downloading information, she found herself experiencing concepts directly, as if understanding simply blossomed in her mind. Complex patterns of thought and emotion became visible to her inner eye, revealing connections she had never perceived before. Hours passed as Hannah absorbed the Valexian knowledge. When she finally removed the display, dawn was breaking over Seoul. She felt transformed, seeing the world through new eyes. The pedestrians below her window were no longer just individuals, but nodes in a vast network of consciousness, their movements creating patterns of meaning and connection. For the first time, Hannah understood what Eri had meant about balance. The Valexian hadn't simply repaid a debt. She had given Hannah the tools to help countless others. Where Hannah had saved one life, this knowledge might save thousands. She made herself tea and watched the sunrise, wondering how she would explain to her patients that their doctor had changed overnight. Not with new degrees or certifications, but with an entirely new way of seeing the human mind. The Grand Hall of the World Health Organization headquarters in Geneva buzzed with anticipation. 2 years had passed since Hannah's encounter with Eri and the mysterious crystal. Today, doctors, researchers, and health officials from around the world gathered to witness the official presentation of what was now known as the Kim Protocol. Hannah stood backstage, reviewing her notes one last time. She wore a simple blue suit, her only adornment a small crystal pendant, a reminder of where this journey began. Dr. Kim, 2 minutes, a staff member informed her. Hannah nodded, taking a deep breath. Behind her, a small team of her colleagues waited. Among them stood Jun, a former soldier who had been her patient with severe PTSD, now fully recovered and working as an advocate for the new treatment approach. The lights dimmed, and the WHO Director General took the stage. 2 years ago, Dr. Hannah Kim introduced a revolutionary approach to treating psychological trauma. Today, after rigorous testing and validation across 17 countries, we gather to formally recognize this breakthrough. Hannah walked onto the stage as images appeared on the large screen behind her. Brain scans showed before and after comparisons of patients treated with her methods. "Thank you all for coming," she began. "What I present today isn't just a new therapy, but a fundamental shift in how we understand the human mind." She gestured to the brain scans. Traditional approaches treat trauma as damage to be managed. The Kim Protocol recognizes trauma as disrupted patterns that can be restored to harmony. As Hannah explained the basics of her approach, she carefully avoided mentioning its alien origins. The world knew only that she had developed these techniques through interdisciplinary research, a truth, if not the complete truth. "The results speak for themselves," she continued. 87% of patients with treatment-resistant PTSD showed significant improvement. 63% now show no symptoms at all. A murmur ran through the audience. Such numbers were unprecedented. Perhaps most remarkable are the results with early-stage dementia patients, Hannah said, advancing to the next slides. These scans show neural regeneration, previously thought impossible. After her presentation, the questions came rapidly from skeptical doctors and excited researchers alike. Hannah answered each patiently, describing the techniques without revealing their true source. As the session ended, a tall figure in the back caught her attention. Someone wearing a hooded cloak despite the warm weather. Hannah's heart quickened. Later, in a private meeting room, Hannah finally faced Eri again. The Valexian's skin displayed pleased patterns of deep blue and purple. "You have used our knowledge well," Eri said, lowering her hood. "The council has been monitoring your progress." "You've been watching me?" Hannah asked, surprised. "Only the public results," Eri clarified. "We do not invade privacy, but the outcomes you've achieved exceed our predictions." Hannah gestured for Eri to sit. "I modified the Valexian techniques to work with human physiology. It wasn't easy. Our neural structures are quite different. Yet you succeeded where our scientists believed impossible." Eri's skin rippled with what Hannah now recognized as admiration. "You've created a true hybrid approach, neither fully human or fully Valexian." "The crystal only showed me possibilities," Hannah explained. "The real work was figuring out how to apply them." "That is why you were the right choice," Eri said. "You understand both worlds now." A knock at the door interrupted them. Jun entered, carrying data tablets. "Dr. Kim, the WHO committee needs." He stopped abruptly upon seeing Eri. Though the public now knew of the Valexian's existence, few humans had met one in person. "Jun, this is Minister Eri, an old friend," Hannah said calmly. "Eri, this is Jun, my research assistant and former patient." Jun bowed slightly. "An honor, Minister." Dr. Kim never mentioned her Valexian connections. "Unnecessary discretion," Eri replied. Her translator rendered her musical tones perfectly. "Your recovery speaks to Dr. Kim's skill." "More than recovery," Jun said earnestly. 2 years ago, I couldn't function. Now I help others find the same peace." After Jun left with promises to return later, Eri's colors shifted to serious tones. "I bring news, Hannah Kim. The Valexian Council has made a decision that directly concerns you." "What kind of decision?" Hannah asked cautiously. "We wish to establish the first official human Valexian medical institute, a place where both species can openly share healing knowledge." Hannah's eyes widened. "That would be a significant policy change for your people." "Yes." Eri's skin displayed formal, official patterns. "Your success has convinced many who were skeptical. If one human could adapt our knowledge so effectively, perhaps broader exchange is possible." "And they want me involved." "They want you to lead it," Eri clarified. "As the bridge between our approaches." Hannah sat back, stunned. "That's a tremendous responsibility." "It is appropriate symmetry," Eri said. "You saved one life and created a path to save millions." Perfect balance. That evening, Hannah stood on the observation deck of the newly completed International Space Elevator Terminal. Below, the lights of Earth spread out like stars reflected in dark water. Above, the actual stars shone with cold brilliance. Eri joined her at the window. "Your planet looks peaceful from here." "An illusion of distance," Hannah replied. "But perhaps less of an illusion than before." "The treatments you've developed are spreading rapidly," Eri observed. "Already, global conflict measures show a 3% decrease in regions with high treatment adoption." 3% may not sound like much," Hannah said, "but it represents millions of lives improved." "And this is just the beginning." Eri's skin displayed hopeful patterns. "The Institute will accelerate progress exponentially." Hannah turned to face the Valexian, who had become both colleague and friend. "When you collapsed that day on the station, I never imagined where helping you would lead." "Valexians have a saying, 'Small harmonies create larger resonances,'" Eri replied. "Your human equivalent might be ripple effects, or butterfly effects," Hannah added. "One small change creating massive outcomes elsewhere." They stood in comfortable silence, watching Earth turn slowly beneath them. Finally, Hannah asked the question that had been on her mind for 2 years. "Was it planned? Did you choose me specifically when you came to the station?" Eri's colors showed thoughtful patterns. "Not in the way you mean. No Valexian would risk death as part of a plan. My stress reaction was genuine. But afterward, when Ambassador Ravi observed how you helped me, he recognized potential. Sometimes, the universe creates patterns we don't expect." A notification chimed softly. Their transport to the first planning session for the Institute was ready. As they walked toward the departure area, Hannah reflected on the strange journey that had brought her here. From space station psychologist to pioneer of an entirely new field of mental health, all because she had chosen to help someone in distress, regardless of what planet they called home. "What are you thinking about?" Ari asked, noticing Hannah's expression. "About connections," Hannah replied, "and how the most important ones often begin with the simplest choice, to help someone who needs it." Ari's skin displayed warm, agreeing colors. Perhaps that is the one true universal principle, regardless of species. As their transport rose toward the stars, Earth grew smaller below them. A blue planet where two different species have found common ground in the desire to heal and be healed.